Welcome to the Ancient Alternative View. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Good day to all watching the Ancient Alternative View, the place where everyone's opinion matters. Remember, the truth has been hidden and covered for many years, so all theories to our ancient past are on the table. I look forward to hearing your views. Please like, comment and subscribe below. Thank you. Recently, we've been speaking about ancient astronomical alignments. Now, on a prior episode as well, Ancient Alchemy, we spoke of Thoth, a revered god in Egypt, who walked to Egypt with the Emerald Tablet. Now, with recent studies of our ancient astronomical alignment, I wanted to see if there was such a god from our ancient past in our myth and legend that jumped out at me that could help us with this mystery. One such god was called the Lady of the Stars, a mistress of heaven and life, worshipped in Nubia, Semitic Western Asia, Ethiopia, Libya, and if we seek answers, clearly she requires the ancient alternative view to have a much closer look. Her name, ladies and gentlemen, is Hathor, and her followers worship this mother goddess from the beginnings of Egyptian religion until the end in circa 500 AD. From her mythology, it's apparent that this was as revered a god as any male god in Egyptian history. Today, more people have heard of Isis, the mother of Horus, but it was Hathor who came first, the primeval goddess from whom all others were derived. In tracing back some connections to her origins, consider that Hathor was generally represented as a heavenly cow because she represented the Milky Way and the milk flowing from above. She was associated with Venus, the morning star and goddess of the Romans. To the Greeks, she was associated with Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Hathor was one of the only gods represented in portrait, making her rather special. She would often have a red body and beautifully painted eyes, but could also be pure white. Her human face would often have cow horns and ears with a red disk of the sun between the horns. The red sun disk would later appear in representations of Isis also. Hathor could take many forms, appearing as a lion, a goose, a cat, vulture, cobra, or a sycamore tree. Her relationships with other gods and goddesses are equally changeable. She was married to Horus, but the relationship is curious. Hathor's name translates to domain of Horus, with the ability to rejuvenate and bring the sun god back to life. She is described as the wife, daughter, and mother of the sun god Ra. Hathor enjoyed great popularity with common people and royalty alike as the patron goddess of joy, celebration, and love. She played a mysterious instrument called a sistrum. This was supposed to drive away evil from the lands. Now, what sort of a device could this have been? Actually, what was it, guys? It appears almost like maybe a gateway with a cobra in the opening or a huge tuning fork. The Egyptian ankh, in other instances, we can see in Toluca. Present-day Toluca is one of the most mysterious objects discovered in Mexico. The monument number 4 cross altar shares an incredible similarity to the ankh cross in ancient Egypt. The ankh, also known as the key of life, was the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic character that read life. It actually represents the concept of eternal life, which is, according to historians, the general meaning of the symbol. It is one of the most important ancient Egyptian symbols, yet one of the most mysterious ones, because the origin of the symbol remains a mystery to even Egyptologists and researchers alike. Not one single hypothesis has been fully accepted, ladies and gentlemen of the ancient alternative view. It's very ironic that we associate the deity Hathor with the word joy, because she was wreaking havoc on all humans in most stories. Very similar to the great flood of the Bible, the god Ra becomes displeased with humans for forgetting him and unleashes Hathor to destroy them as her evil twin of sorts. The goddess Sekhmet's destruction is so overwhelming that other gods ask Ra to stop her destructive wake. And I quote, Ra regrets his decision and devises a plan to stop Sekhmet's bloodlust. He orders Tenet, the Egyptian goddess of beer, to brew a particularly strong batch and then has the beer dyed red and delivered to Dendera. Sekhmet by this time is crazed with the thirst for blood, and when she comes upon the red blood beer, she quickly seizes it and begins to drink. She becomes very drunk and falls asleep and wakes up as Hathor the Benevolent. Humanity was spared destruction, and their former tormentor became their greatest benefactress. Following her transformation, Hathor bestowed only beautiful and uplifting gifts to the children of the earth, and assumed such high status that all later goddesses of Egypt can be considered forms of Hathor. She was the primordial mother goddess, ruler of the sky, the sun, the moon, agriculture, fertility, the east, the west, moisture, childbirth. Further, she was associated with joy, music, love, motherhood, dance, drunkenness, and above all, gratitude. Thank the gods for that red beer. Without it, where would humanity be today? Instead of eliminating humanity, Hathor instead bestowed joy, music, art, yes, art, so we could have gained our astronomical drawings, abilities, devotion to the stars, all from her. Our ancient ancestors not only were living thankfully, but also crossing to the afterlife happy. It was believed that Hathor's mother character greeted the souls of the dead and assisted them onto their final journey to a place called Duat. She even offered them refreshments from the shade of a sycamore tree. Hathor was integral to celebrations of the new year, as are we up to present day. Today, the New Year's celebrations can be seen on the walls of the 2,000-year-old Temple of Hathor in Dendera, near the famed Dendera light bulbs. Early Christians damaged her face sculptures in an attempt to basically erase her from our history. As you can see, the story of Hathor is foundational to the beliefs of ancient Egypt. Did she walk there? Did she go there with the secrets of ancient astronomical alignment? To the people, did she teach them that? The goddess representing the Milky Way itself, who nearly wiped out the human race, but then transformed it into a beloved patron of joy, prosperity, and celebration. I'd love to hear your views, Ancient Alternative View. Hello, everyone. I just want to take you back to this article that we were reading during the episode. And I find it quite interesting that the Aztecs had exactly the same signs as what they did, the key of life in South America. And it says here, there is one basic mistake Egyptologists are making when it comes to Egyptian civilization. They believe the Egyptians were preoccupied with death. Egyptologists repeat this over and over again like a mantra. Very typical of Egyptologists, isn't it? Here's the difference, and this is very important. The Egyptians were convinced, like so many of us are, that when a person passes away, something that formerly animated that person's body was now missing or had fled. They believed much more strongly than we do that this non-material self, the soul within or God within, was the vital force and source of consciousness. They saw this soul as their real selves, the real life eternal, which they symbolized with the ankh cross, today found everywhere in Egypt. Now, we've got some really credible guys here that have noticed this same paradigm, that the Aztecs had the same thing, they believed in the same things. Now, Like I said on my Columbus episode, are we willing to open our eyes to the fact that cultures did cross in our ancient past? Because then we can start thinking more clearly about what some of these gods actually did. Now, the Egyptians used the ankh cross formed in part of the Tao to express a concept of life beyond death. The Aztecs did this as well. When we've looked at the tree of life in Egypt today and seen how it was proposed, and it's pretty much identical in the Aztec world. Now, we look at some of the architecture as well, and you can see the tree of life symbol in the Aztec work here. Now, is it a complete, well, fluke that these guys met each other? They are not the only ancient hallmarks between the two, let's put that this way. But what we're actually getting to today is, was or could this ankh be part of some sort of, I'm not going to say technology, but something that could help with the ancient astronomical alignments? Because it seems that we've got so much pointing towards this. We find this in Egypt, we find it also now with the Aztecs in Mexico. It is everywhere. Now, I believe that gods walked the earth. They were revered as gods because if somebody came to where you lived with such potent technology, like Thoth did with the Emerald Tablet, with alchemic results, with alchemic properties, he might have taught them how to make nub blocks or bevel blocks or the both of those. Then you would be revered as an engineering god or as a god. Now, could this be the same? Could this possibly be, I know it's the god of joy and happiness and so on, but could the fact that this technological piece of equipment that's been shown to align with pyramids that are looking at the stars, could this be something that actually helped our ancients find the correct locations for where they were to put their pyramids and temples and so on? I'd like to hear your ancient alternative view on some of the hallmarks that you think that you've found recently in our ancient world. I'd absolutely love that. And thanks very much for listening to me today. I'd like to hear your opinions on everything that you've heard on ancient Egypt and the gods of Egypt today. And thank you very much indeed. Remember, there's always an ancient alternative view. Thank you for watching.